Okay guys, so what is maturity? Now, this is a question that I'm sure plagues everyone, and many people are misinformed or delusional regarding the true meaning of maturity. I mean, it's gotten to the point where it's not even funny anymore. Like, it's low-key depressing when you see all them self-proclaimed mature people try to lecture you when they have absolutely no clue what they talking about. So, in this video, I'm going to attempt to boil everything down until it's crystal clear and set the record straight on what does it truly mean to be mature. Now, I feel like I gotta do this every episode, but before I begin, here's just a small disclaimer. You don't have to agree with me, and even though I recommend it, you don't need to apply or try or listen to anything I say. You are free to believe whatever you want. However, I will say this. It's going to be pretty difficult to completely disagree with me on this one, and you'll see why as the video progresses. So, let's get down to business. So what is maturity? In short, maturity is how well you understand reality. The better your understanding of reality, the more mature you are. Think about that for a minute. Now, another easy, conventional way to test this is cringe. Why do we cringe at things? Because they are in our minds immature and naive. The more mature you get, the more things you tend to cringe at. Keep that in mind. So, I'm going to split up maturity into two stages. The social stage and the wisdom stage. And in my opinion, to truly consider yourself a basic mature human being, you must at the very minimum master or reach the first stage. However, perhaps the most important thing to understand here is that society is constantly changing, and thus reality and its conventions change with it. To truly master this first stage, you must understand this and be able to adapt to new changes as time progresses. A mistake that many people make is finding a system that works and having the delusional belief that because it worked once, or because it works now, means it will work forever. Unfortunately, that's trash, and is also the reason why maturity has nothing to do with age. So let me explain a bit what social maturity is. Social maturity is reflected best through one's behavior in a group. There really ain't nothing much philosophical here. Like, you just gotta not be a sociopath, you know? Don't be that one dude who everybody low-key hates and clowns at cause you delusional about how others view your actions. Social maturity is mostly just accurately and conservatively understanding how others view or react to the choices you make and the things you do. However, there are a few exceptions here. Regardless of what your belief is, in my opinion, there are actually a few philosophical things that you simply must understand to master this first stage of maturity, and this is where a lot of people fall short. 1. Open-mindedness. You simply can't call yourself mature if you're not open to other opinions. You have to be able to see the deeper meaning, the bigger picture in things, and
you cannot be personal about nostalgia that hasn't worked, and you have to embrace change. Because if you're not going to embrace change, do yourself a favor, shut the shop and retire.
And number 2, I think it goes without saying, understanding responsibility. A rudimentary step in maturity, as most of you know, is stopping with them bullshit excuses. Oh, my cat pooped on an ambulance. Oh, I sat on melted cheese. Oh, my balls are sweaty. You not clever.
Get real!
And get it together. Every time you think that things are out of control, trust me, 95% of the time, you are a major cause for your problems. Anywhere from your girlfriend cheating on you to your kids turning out to be a serial killer. Who knows? But you have to take responsibility and understand to what degree and at what point do you need to start reevaluating your position. And finally, number 3, understanding universality. Now, it sounds like something complicated, but again, I've mentioned this in another video. It's very simple. You not special. Don't be out here complaining. Ain't nobody who's mature will give a damn because They're more about finessing and embracing that hardship rather than crying about them like you Jake Paul or some shit. However, beyond social maturity, the boundaries are free. You have to be able to make the distinction between a person who is actually immature and hasn't reached social maturity to a person who simply has a different philosophy. Beyond a certain point, reality becomes more subjective and vague, and this is what I like to call general reality, or the wisdom stage. Everyone should have their own perception of general reality. The mistake that I see a lot of, actually most people make, is the failure to recognize this, a failure to tell when a person simply has a different set of philosophies. This is a mistake that is most common from older people towards younger people. Oftentimes, older folks try to play the age card and be like, "Oh, what do you know? You're 15 years younger than me." Unless you're talking to someone who just hit puberty or younger, you're probably wrong. The thing is, basic social maturity is typically achieved around the age of 15 to 18, based on my observations. Obviously, these might be off, but I think it's reasonable to say that most people who do reach social maturity reach it around that age. So beyond that, it is far more likely that you're dealing with simply a difference in philosophy rather than actual naivety. And here's the catch. Ultimately, the truth doesn't care about nobody's feelings or opinions. Reality will unfold itself regardless of what your beliefs are. So, that being said, if your personal beliefs and philosophies are too radical or too far from reality, you will feel the consequences. And these consequences may be subtle and accumulate over time, or it can be very sudden and drastic. But all in all, it ain't gonna be good. The only thing you can do at this point is to reassess your motivations for believing what you believed in, and perhaps revisit the evidence that you used to back it up. And let's be real here, if your original beliefs are that off, you have no one to blame but yourself and your own ignorance. So overall, there are two important takeaways here. One, most people achieve social maturity, but do not just stop there. Find your own set of beliefs and always be open-minded to change as the world changes around you. And I repeat this many times, but do not idolize or conform to one single belief, person, or group of people. Diversify your philosophical portfolio. Draw wisdom and knowledge from different sources so you can build your own philosophy and interpretations. And two, if you meet a person you disagree with, unless he is truly immature, naive, and hasn't really fully reached social maturity, which honestly should be a pretty obvious observation, don't just jump to the conclusion that he's stupid or he immature, cause as I've said before, reality gonna creep up and bite one of your asses in the future. And if you're truly so confident with your evidence and your motivations that you are tempted to view the other person as stupid or immature, just chill, alright? Just laugh and know that justice will be served in the long run, if you know what I'm saying. One final thing. I understand that maturity is complex and has a different manifestation in every context. If you're a mature basketball player, that doesn't mean that you're mature when it comes to, say, restaurant managing. You feel me? Leave it down in the comments if you understand what I'm getting at here. Even though maturity comes in many different shapes and forms, I try to break it down in a way that can be applied to any context. If you're confused or have any questions, please leave it down in the comments and I'll respond to them. And understand that this is a very big topic with tons of nuance in every corner. So it's pretty difficult to compress into one single video. I could honestly make 10 videos on this single subject, but let's be real. That would be so dry. So, yeah. So that's about it, folks, and in my next video in this series, I'll be breaking down the age-old excuse for bad decisions known as experience. Thank you for watching. Remember to comment any suggestions or disagreements or questions you have. Please don't judge my terrible art skills. And later, my friends.